The massive ship appeared in the sky without warning. It hovered over New Houston base like a giant metal cloud, casting shadows across the land below. Lucy Reed stood with the other soldiers in neat rows, her heart beating fast in her chest. This was her first encounter with aliens, and she was not sure what to expect. Captain Rose Hill barked orders as they formed their lines, shoulders, straight backs, stiff faces blank. The captain was a tough woman with short gray hair and eyes that missed. Nothing she had seen aliens before and did not seem worried. A soft humming noise filled the air as a beam of light shot down from the ship, touching the ground about 50 feet from the soldiers. A door opened in the side of the ship and figures began to move down the light beam. Lucy held her breath as the aliens came into view. They were tall, much taller than any human, with skin that glowed with a soft blue light. Their bodies were thin, but strong-looking. Their faces had 2 large eyes, a small nose and no visible mouth. They moved with grace like dancers. The tallest alien stepped forward. She wore a crown made of what looked like glowing crystals. Her skin had patterns that shifted and changed like moving water. This was clearly the leader. Captain Hill stepped forward to meet her, offering a formal salute. The alien princess tilted her head, studying the human with interest before making a gesture with her long fingers that might have been a greeting. "We welcome the Zetari, people to Earth," the captain said in a clear voice. "We hope our 2 species can learn from each other and build a peaceful relationship." The alien princess did not speak. Instead, she raised her hand, and a small device on her wrist lit up. A voice came from it, speaking perfect English. "I am Princess Zalia of the Zetari Empire. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." A murmur ran through the soldiers. This was historic, the first peaceful contact with an advanced alien race. Lucy felt pride swell in her chest. She was witnessing history. Princess Zalia began walking along the line of soldiers, studying each one carefully. As she passed by them, her eyes seemed to look into their very souls. Lucy shifted uncomfortably as the alien approached her section. Next to Lucy stood Sam Wilson, the youngest soldier in their unit, just 19 years old, with a face still rounded with youth and kind eyes that often got him teased by the older soldiers. He was smart but quiet, always following orders, without question. When Princess Zalia reached Sam, she stopped, her eyes widening slightly. She stared at him for a long moment before turning to Captain Hill. "This one," she said, pointing at Sam, her voice coming through the translator. "This one will be my guide during my stay." Captain Hill frowned but kept her voice respectful. "Private Wilson has only been with us for 6 months. Princess, perhaps someone with more experience would be better suited." The princess shook her head. Her decision was final, her eyes never leaving Sam, who stood frozen in place. His face pale with shock. "I sensed something special in this human. She said something rare and valuable. He will attend me during negotiations." Sam looked at Lucy, his eyes wide with panic. But there was nothing she could do as Princess Zalia gestured for him to step forward. Reluctantly, he did, breaking formation to stand beside the alien, who stood at least 2 feet taller than him. Captain Hill pressed her lips together but nodded. "We will arrange suitable quarters for you and your guards, Princess, and Private Wilson will be assigned to you for the duration of your stay." Lucy watched as Sam was led away with the aliens, his shoulders stiff with tension. She felt a pang of worry for her young friend. What did the alien princess want with him? Later that evening, Lucy found Sam sitting alone in the mess hall, pushing food around his plate with his fork, his face troubled. "How is it going with the aliens?" she asked, sliding into the seat across from him. Sam glanced around, making sure no one was listening before leaning forward. "She watches me all the time, Lucy," he whispered. "Even when I sleep, she has these guards post outside my door, but I think it's to keep me in, not to keep others out." "What does she want?" Lucy asked. Sam shrugged. "She asked me questions about human emotions, about how we dream, about our beliefs. It's like she's studying me. But there's something else, something she's not telling me." "You think she's dangerous?" Lucy asked. "Keeping her voice low." Sam hesitated. "No, not dangerous exactly, but not honest either." He replied, "I overheard her talking to her guards in their language. I couldn't understand the words, but she said my name, and they seemed surprised by whatever she said before." Lucy could respond. An alarm blared through the base, red lights flashing in the hallway. Emergency alert. All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill. Captain Hill's voice announced over the speakers. Lucy and Sam jumped to their feet, running toward the door, but before they could reach it, the ground shook beneath them, throwing them off balance. What was that? Sam gasped as they steadied themselves. Lucy shook her head. Could be an attack. We need to get to our stations. As they rushed down the corridor, they saw soldiers running in all directions, some carrying weapons, others helping the injured through the smoke-filled hallways. Ahead of them, Lucy could see flames licking at the walls of the East Wing. We need to split up, Lucy said. You should check on the princess, make sure she's safe. Sam nodded and turned down a different corridor, heading toward the diplomatic quarters, while Lucy continued toward the command center. When she arrived, Captain Hill was shouting orders. Officers, rushing to carry them out. Screens around the room showed various parts of the base, some in flames, others crawling with unfamiliar creatures that moved like giant insects. What happened? Lucy asked the nearest officer. Lieutenant Mary Clark turned. To her, it's another alien ship they attacked without warning. Hit the East Wing first. They seemed to be after something specific. Lucy felt her blood run cold. The diplomatic quarters were in the East Wing, where Sam had just headed. Captain, she called. Out. Private Wilson went to check on Princess Zalia. Her quarters were in the East Wing. Captain Hill spun around, cursing under her breath. The princess and her party were evacuated to the bunkers as soon as the attack began. But Wilson might be walking into a trap. Let me go after him, Lucy pleaded. The captain hesitated for only a moment before nodding. Take a squad with you, and be careful. These new aliens don't seem interested in talking. Lucy gathered 3 other soldiers, and they headed toward the East Wing. Weapons ready? The smoke grew thicker as they approached, making it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. The sound of gunfire echoed through the corridors. As they rounded a corner, Lucy saw one of the insect-like creatures it stood on. 6 legs, its body covered in a hard shell-like armor. Its head swiveled toward them, multiple eyes glinting in the emergency lights. Open fire, she shouted, raising her weapon. The creature scuttled toward them with surprising speed. Bullets bounced off its shell, but it slowed when hit in the joints between its armor. They fought their way through 3 more of the creatures before reaching the diplomatic quarters. The door had been ripped open, metal bent and twisted. Lucy peered inside her, heart sinking when she saw the destruction furniture, overturned walls, scorched with blast marks, but no sign of Sam or the princess. They must have been taken, Lucy said, fear gripping her chest. A soft sound from behind an overturned table caught her. Attention! She signaled for the others to cover her as she approached, weapon ready. Lucy gasped when she saw what was hiding there. Princess Zalia crouched low, her glowing skin dimmed to almost nothing, her eyes wide with fear. Where is Private Wilson? Lucy demanded. The princess looked up at her, tears like small diamonds running down her face. They took him, she whispered. They took him because of me. Lucy stared at Princess Zalia, who seemed smaller somehow without her royal confidence, her glowing skin barely flickering now like a dying light bulb. What do you mean they took him because of you? Lucy demanded, keeping her weapon steady. The princess rose slowly, her movements no longer graceful but weary. They are the Krivak, she explained, our ancient enemies. They hunt my people across the stars. They must have followed us here. The other soldiers kept their weapons trained on the princess, suspicion clear on their faces. Why would they take Sam? Lucy asked. Zalia looked down, her fingers twisting together in a nervous gesture that seemed surprisingly human. Your friend carries something precious, something the Krivaks would kill to possess. What are you talking about? Lucy pressed her patience wearing thin. Before the princess could answer, Captain Hill burst into the room with a full squad of heavily armed soldiers, her face hard with anger. Step away from the alien, she ordered. But Captain Lucy, began Hill cut her off with a sharp gesture. We just got word from command. This attack happened right after the Zatari ship sent a transmission to an unknown location. The princess shook her head frantically. No, you don't understand. We were warning our home world that the Krivaks found us. We would never betray your people. Hill ignored her explanation. Secure the alien, she ordered. 2 soldiers stepped forward, placing restraints on Zalia's slender wrists. Lucy watched conflicted as they led the princess away. Something about Zalia's fear seemed genuine, but Sam was missing and someone had to be responsible. "What about Private Wilson?" she asked the captain. Hill sighed. "Search parties are looking for him now, but no sign yet," she said. "He'll let you join the search coordinate with Lieutenant Clark." For the next 6 hours, Lucy searched the base with growing desperation. Each room they cleared without finding. Sam made her heart sink lower. The attack had stopped as suddenly as it began. The insect, like creatures retreating to their ship which had disappeared into the stars. When Lucy finally took a break, exhausted and worried, she found herself outside the room where they were holding Princess Zalia. 2 guards stood at the door, their faces grim. "I need to speak with her," Lucy said. The guards exchanged looks before one shook her head. "No. Visitors, captain's orders." Lucy was about to argue when an alarm blared again, this time with a different pattern, one that made the guards tense. "Perimeter breach." The speakers announced multiple hostiles approaching from the north. The guards looked at each other, uncertainty clear on their faces. "Go," Lucy urged. "He'll watch the prisoner." After a moment's hesitation, they nodded and ran toward the sound of gunfire. Lucy waited until they disappeared around the corner before entering the room. Zalia sat on a small cot, her wrists still bound, her head bowed. When she looked up at Lucy, her eyes showed recognition. "You are his friend," she said softly. Lucy nodded. "Where is Sam?" The princess stood, moving closer. "I can show you, but you must help me escape first." "How do I know you won't just run?" Lucy asked. Not trusting the alien, Zalia held out her bound wrists. "The Kryvax took him because they believe he carries the essence of my ancestor, a great warrior who disappeared during a battle with them centuries ago." Lucy frowned. "What does that mean?" The princess sighed. "In our culture, we believe that souls can return. That energy cannot be destroyed, only transferred. Your friend, his energy signature matches my ancestor perfectly. That is why I chose him from all others." "This sounds crazy," Lucy said. "Perhaps to humans," Zalia agreed. "But the Kryvax believe it too. That is why they took him. They will try to extract the knowledge. My ancestor had knowledge of weapons that could destroy their entire species." Lucy studied the alien's face, looking for signs of deception, but saw only concern. "If what you say is true, what will they do to Sam?" "They will probe his mind," Zalia said grimly. "The process is painful and eventually fatal. We must find him quickly." Lucy made her decision, stepping forward to release the princess restraints. "If you're lying to me," she warned. "I am not." Zalia promised. "The Kryvax ship cannot have gone far. They need time to extract the information they need." Outside the room they could hear shouting and gunfire. The base was under attack again. Lucy grabbed an extra weapon from a cabinet, handing it to the princess. "Do you know how to use this?" she asked. Zalia examined the gun briefly before nodding. "It is primitive, but similar to our weapons." They moved through the corridors, avoiding the main battle areas. Lucy led them toward the vehicle bay, where they might find transportation. "We can't just leave," Lucy said. "People will think I'm helping you escape." "We are not leaving," Zalia assured her. "The Kryvax never go far with their prisoners. They prefer to work quickly. I can sense them nearby in the hills to the north." In the vehicle bay, Lucy found a small transport jeep. With keys still in the ignition, she motioned for Zalia to get in. As they drove away from the base, Lucy radioed in. "We have a lead on Private Wilson, requesting permission to investigate." The radio crackled with Captain Hill's voice. "Where are you, Reed? And where is the prisoner?" "With me, sir," Lucy replied. "The princess has information on Wilson's location." There was a long pause before Hill responded. "You have 1 hour. Reed, then I want you both back at base, regardless of what you find." Lucy acknowledged. Turning off the radio as they sped toward the hills, the princess directed her to a narrow valley hidden between 2 large rock formations. "Stop here," Zalia said suddenly. "They are close." Lucy parked the jeep behind some boulders. Grabbing her weapon and extra ammunition, they proceeded on foot, climbing up a steep path that wound between sharp rocks. The ground shook beneath their feet, and Lucy looked up to see the Kryvax ship, partly hidden in a cave, its surface gleaming like the shell of an enormous beetle. "Guards," Lucy whispered, spotting 2 of the insect creatures at what appeared to be an entrance. Zalia nodded. Closing her eyes briefly, her skin began to glow brighter. "I can distract them," she said. "My light can blind them temporarily." Before Lucy could respond, the princess stepped into view, her body suddenly flaring with intense blue light that made Lucy shield her eyes. The Krivax guards reared back, their multiple limbs flailing as they tried to escape the painful brightness. "Now, Zalia," called Lucy, ran forward, firing at the vulnerable joints she had identified earlier. The creatures collapsed, their limbs twitching as they died. The entrance was open, leading into a dark corridor that smelled of chemicals and something rotting. Lucy tried not to gag as they moved deeper into the ship. Zalia led the way, seeming to know exactly where to go. They encountered 2 more guards, dispatching them quickly before reaching a large chamber filled with strange equipment. In the center, Sam was strapped to a metal table, his body arched in pain, his face covered in sweat. A device was attached to his head with wires running to a pulsing machine nearby. 3 Krivax worked at control panels, their backs to the door. Lucy didn't hesitate. She fired at them, taking down 2 before the third could react. The remaining alien turned, hissing as it launched itself toward them. Zalia stepped forward, raising her hand. A pulse of energy shot from her palm, throwing the creature against the wall with crushing force. Lucy ran to Sam. He was unconscious but breathing. She quickly removed the device from his head while Zalia examined the machine. "They have already begun the extraction," the princess said, her voice tight with worry. "Is he?" Lucy couldn't finish the question. Zalia placed her hand on Sam's forehead, closing her eyes. "His essence is still intact," she said with relief. "But we must hurry. More guards will come." Lucy unstrapped Sam from the table, supporting his weight as he slumped against her. He was lighter than she expected, or perhaps it was just adrenaline making her stronger. They made their way back through the ship, encountering no more resistance when they reached the entrance. Zalia paused, looking back. "What is it?" Lucy asked, struggling with Sam's weight. The princess hesitated. "We should destroy their research," she said. "We don't have explosives," Lucy pointed out. Zalia smiled faintly. "I am a weapon," she said simply. "Wait here." Lucy watched as the princess returned inside the ship. Minutes passed and she began to worry. But then Zalia reappeared, running toward them. "Go now," she urged. "They have a self-destruct system. I activated it." They half-carried, half-dragged Sam down the path to the jeep, getting him into the back seat just as a rumbling sound came from the cave. The ground shook as they drove away. Lucy glanced in the rearview mirror to see a ball of green fire erupting from the cave entrance, followed by a cloud of black smoke. Behind them, Sam groaned, his eyes fluttering. "Open, Lucy," he whispered, his voice weak. "Where am?" "Safe," Lucy assured him, looking at Zalia, who sat beside her. "You are safe now." Sam struggled to sit up, his eyes finding the princess. "What did they do to me?" he asked. Zalia reached back to touch his hand. Gently, "They tried to take something that was never theirs," she said, as they drove back toward the base. Sam seemed to recover some of his strength, sitting up straighter, his eyes clearer. "I remember, Lucy," he said suddenly. "They were in my head, asking about someone named Zareth, showing me images of battles and weapons." Zalia nodded. "Zareth was my ancestor, a great general who disappeared in battle." Sam looked at his own hands as if seeing them for the first time. "I saw through his eyes," he said softly. "I felt what he felt. I knew things I shouldn't know." The princess watched him closely. "What do you remember?" Sam met her gaze. "The coordinates," he whispered, "the coordinates of your home world." The base was in chaos when they returned. Smoke still rising from damaged buildings, soldiers rushing to secure the perimeter. Captain Hill met them at the gate, her face a mix of relief and anger. When she saw Sam in the back seat, "Get him to medical," now she ordered as medics rushed forward with a stretcher. "What happened out there?" Reed, Lucy explained quickly about the Krivax ship and their rescue mission. While the princess stood silently beside her, the captain listened, her expression growing more concerned. "And you destroyed their ship?" Hill asked. Zalia nodded. "They would have continued their attack otherwise," she said. "Their only goal was to extract information from your soldier." The captain studied the alien princess for a long moment before Speaking, we need to debrief all of you properly, she said. Guards escort the princess to the conference room. Reed, you go with Wilson to medical, keep an eye on him. Lucy followed the medics as they wheeled Sam into the medical wing. He was conscious, but confused, his eyes darting around as if seeing things that weren't there. The doctor, a woman named Karen White, examined him carefully, checking his vitals and shining a light in his eyes. Physically, he's fine, she told Lucy after the examination, but his brainwave patterns are unusual. I'm seeing activity in regions that are normally dormant in humans. Can I talk to him? Lucy asked. Dr. White nodded, but keep it brief. He needs rest. Lucy approached Sam's bed. He looked at her with recognition, but there was something else in his eyes, something older and wiser than before. Hey, she said softly. How are you feeling? Sam blinked slowly. My head is full of memories that aren't mine. He whispered. Places I've never been. Battles I never fought, faces I don't know. Princess said you have the essence of her ancestor. Lucy said carefully. What does that mean exactly? Sam stared at the ceiling. Strange, isn't it? He said a millions to one chance that my brain would be compatible with his energy signature when he died. In that battle, part of him survived, somehow drifting through space for centuries until he found you. Lucy finished. Sam nodded. The Kryvax. They tried to pull his memories out, like downloading files from a computer, he said. But they didn't understand. I don't just carry his memories, I am becoming him in some ways. We are merging. Lucy felt a chill run down her spine. Are you still Sam? He turned to look at her, his eyes softening. Yes, I'm still me, he assured her. But more somehow, his knowledge, his experience, it's all here, pointing to his head. I know things, Lucy, things about weapons and strategies, things that could help Earth. What kinds of things, she asked. Before he could answer, Captain Hill entered, followed by 2 armed guards and Dr. White. We need to move him, she announced. He requires specialized care. Lucy stood. Where are you taking him? To a secure facility, Hill replied. The attack on our base wasn't random. The Kryvax were after him specifically, which means he's valuable. We need to understand why. Sam tried to sit up, alarm on his face. No, he protested. I need to speak with Princess Zalia. The captain shook her head. That's not possible right now, she said. Signals intelligence picked up transmissions from the Zatari ship during the attack. We're not convinced they weren't working with the Kryvax. That's ridiculous, Lucy argued. They were enemies. Zalia helped us rescue Sam. Hill held up a hand to silence her. Until we know for certain, Wilson is being transferred. End of discussion. Guards moved to the bed, preparing to move. Sam. Lucy stepped forward, but Hill blocked her path. You're off this assignment, Reed, the captain said firmly. Report to Lieutenant Clark for reassignment. Lucy watched helplessly as they wheeled Sam away, his eyes finding hers briefly before the doors closed behind them. For the next 3 days, Lucy was assigned to perimeter duty, the furthest post from the main buildings where Sam was being held. She tried to get information from other soldiers, but no one knew anything, or if they did, they weren't talking. On the 4th day, she was approached by Lieutenant Clark, who pulled her aside during patrol. Hill wants to see you, she said. Her voice low. Meet her at the south bunker at 2100 hours. Don't tell anyone, Lucy. Arrived at the bunker exactly on time, finding Captain Hill waiting with a grim expression. Come with me, the captain said, leading Lucy down a narrow hallway to a small room with a viewing window on one wall. Through it, Lucy could see Sam sitting at a table, his face pale, his hands shaking slightly. We've been running tests, Hill explained, her voice tight with concern. At first we thought he was just traumatized by his experience. But then he started drawing these, gesturing to papers spread on a desk covered in complex diagrams and equations. What's wrong with him? Lucy asked, watching as Sam stared into space, seemingly unaware of his surroundings. Dr. White says his brain chemistry is changing. Hill said bluntly, the alien consciousness, or whatever it is, it's taking over. It's like his personality is being overwritten. Lucy felt sick. Where is Princess Zalia? She needs to help him. That's why I brought you here, Hill admitted reluctantly. The princess claims she can stop the process. Reverse it even. But she will only do it if you bring Wilson to her. Why me? Lucy asked. Hill shrugged. She trusts you for whatever reason, she said, and frankly we're out of options. The science team has no idea how to help him, and he's getting worse every day. What? About the brass, Lucy asked. Surely they have orders. The captain looked away. We're under orders to study him, to learn what he knows, but she paused. I served with Wilson's father. He was a good man. I can't just watch his son disappear. Lucy understood what the captain was saying without saying it. This would be off the books, against orders, potentially treasonous. He'll do it, she said immediately. Hill nodded. The princess is in holding room 3. Security will be minimal at midnight. She handed Lucy a keycard and Sam's medical information. He'll give you a 10-minute head start, she said. Then he'll sound the alarm at midnight. Lucy moved through the shadows to Sam's room using the captain's keycard to enter. He was asleep, but woke immediately when she touched his arm. Lucy? He said, his voice strange with an accent she had never heard before. I'm getting you out of here, she whispered. Can you walk? He nodded, rising unsteadily to his feet. Lucy supported him as they made their way through the corridors, avoiding the patrol routes she had memorized over the past few days. When they reached holding room 3, Lucy hesitated. What if this was a trap? What if Zalia wanted Sam for herself? For the same reasons the Krivaks did, too late to turn back. Now she used the keycard, opening the door to find Princess Zalia sitting calmly as if expecting them. You came, she said, standing gracefully. Help him, Lucy pleaded. The princess approached Sam, placing her hands on either side of his face. He is fading, she said. His essence is being consumed by Zareth. This is my fault. Can you fix it? Lucy asked. Zalia nodded. But we must hurry. She looked at Lucy. We need to get to my ship. How? Lucy asked. All vehicles are monitored. The princess smiled faintly. Not all of them, she said. I have friends nearby. Lucy helped Sam out of the building, following Zalia's directions. They stayed in the shadows, moving toward the far edge of the base where the fence met the forest. As they reached the tree line, a soft humming sound came from above. Lucy looked up to see a small craft hovering just above the treetops, unlike the massive royal ship. This was sleek and dark, clearly designed for stealth. A beam of light engulfed them, and Lucy felt her feet leave the ground. They were being pulled upward into the craft. Sam beside her, his eyes closed, Zalia following behind them. Inside the craft, 3 Zitari crew members worked at control panels. They nodded respectfully to Zalia, who spoke to them in a musical language that Lucy couldn't understand. The princess turned to Lucy. Your captain will sound an alarm soon, she said. We must leave Earth orbit quickly. Where are you taking us? Lucy demanded. To our medical ship. Zalia explained. It is hidden on the dark side of your moon there. Our scientists can help separate Sam from Zareth. The small craft moved swiftly, ascending into the night sky. Lucy watched through a viewing port as the base grew smaller below them. Suddenly, alarms began to blare, lights coming on across the compound. They know we're gone, she said. Zalia nodded. We have little time. She knelt beside Sam, who had been placed on a small cot. His condition was deteriorating, his skin pale and clammy, his breathing shallow. The princess placed her hand on his forehead, closing her eyes. Her skin began to glow brighter, the light seeming to flow into Sam. He gasped, his back arching. Lucy moved to intervene, but one of the crew members held her back. The princess is stabilizing him, the alien explained in heavily accented English. He will not survive the journey otherwise. Lucy watched anxiously as Zalia continued the strange glowing connection. After several minutes, she removed her hand. Sam relaxed, his breathing becoming more regular. He will sleep now, the princess said, looking exhausted herself. The journey to the moon took less than an hour, the craft approaching a massive ship that appeared seemingly out of nowhere, as if a cloak had been lifted, revealing its presence. They docked inside a bay much larger than Lucy had expected, filled with similar craft and bustling with Zitari crew. When they disembarked, medical personnel immediately took Sam, wheeling him away on a floating gurney. Lucy tried to follow, but Zalia stopped her. They will take him to preparation, she said. First, I must show you something. You need to understand what is happening. The princess led Lucy through gleaming corridors to a large chamber filled with strange equipment, and glowing containers. In the center was what looked like a star map, a three-dimensional projection of space showing countless systems and worlds. Lucy followed Zalia through more gleaming corridors until they reached a large medical chamber. Unlike anything she had seen on Earth, the walls pulsed with soft light equipment, hummed quietly, and in the center, Sam lay on a platform surrounded by glowing screens displaying what appeared to be his brain activity. He turned when they entered his eyes. Finding Lucy, immediately there was recognition there. But something else too, a depth and wisdom that hadn't been there before. "Lucy," he said, his voice stronger than she expected. She rushed to his side. "How do you feel? Better?" he said, sitting up slowly. More clear-headed, the princess. He looked at Zalia. She explained what is happening to me. The alien nodded, as I promised I would. She said, moving. To stand on his other side, the merging is accelerating. Soon Zareth's consciousness will completely overwhelm yours. Sam looked down at his hands. "They don't feel like mine anymore," he said quietly. "Sometimes I forget my own name. I see a battlefield. Instead of a room, I reach for weapons that aren't there." Lucy took his hand, squeezing it gently. "Zalia says they can help separate you from him," she said carefully. "But there might be side effects." Sam nodded. "I know," he said. "We discussed it while you were coming here," Lucy asked. Confused, Sam tapped his head. "Zareth and I," he explained, "we're not exactly two separate people anymore. We can communicate in a way. He's been showing me things. Lucy, terrible things the Kryvax have done to hundreds of worlds, and..." "The solution?" Lucy prompted. "What about that?" Sam exchanged a look with Zalia, his expression grim. "It requires sacrifice," he said. "What kind of sacrifice?" Lucy demanded. Zalia answered. "The knowledge can only be extracted as a complete neural pattern," she explained. "It cannot be copied or transferred partially." Sam continued. "It means they would need to take everything," he said. "All of Zareth, and with him, parts of me, my own memories, my personality." Lucy felt cold fear gripping her heart. "They want to wipe your mind," she whispered. "Not entirely," Sam said, "but enough that I might not remember my life before much of who I am would be gone." Lucy turned to Zalia angrily. "There must be another way." The princess shook her head sadly. "We have tried for centuries to recreate Zareth's work, but the Kryvax have hunted down everyone with knowledge of it. The complete solution exists only in the merged consciousness." Now present in Sam, Lucy paced the room, trying to process what she was hearing. Earth knew nothing of this war. This enemy that consumed worlds. Humans were just beginning to explore space. They were not ready for this kind of threat. "Have you told Earth about the Kryvax?" she asked Zalia, suddenly. The princess nodded. "Your leaders were informed. That is why we came seeking alliance, but they did not believe the threat was immediate." She gestured to the screen showing Sam's brain. If the Kryvax had succeeded in extracting this information from him, they would have eliminated the only threat to their expansion. Your world would have been next. Sam watched Lucy, his expression calm too. "Calm for someone facing such a choice. You've already decided, haven't you?" she accused. He smiled sadly. "Zareth has lived with this knowledge for centuries. Lucy, waiting for someone who could use it," he said. "I can't let that be in vain, but you'll lose yourself," she argued. Sam shook his head. "Not all of me," he assured her. "The doctors believe they can preserve core memories, my childhood, my family, basic knowledge and skills, and..." Us, Lucy asked softly. "What about your memories of us?" His eyes softened. "Some things are too important to forget," he said, taking her hand again. "I might not remember specifics, but the feelings, the connections, those run deeper than memory." Zalia stepped forward. "We should begin the preparation," she said gently. "The longer we wait, the more difficult the separation becomes." Lucy looked between them, feeling helpless. "I need some time," she said. The princess nodded, understanding in her alien eyes. "I will show you to quarters where you can rest." She turned to Sam. The procedure will be ready in 6 Earth hours. After Zalia left Lucy alone in a small but comfortable room, she sat on the edge of the bed, her mind racing trying to find another solution. There had to be one way to save Sam without destroying who he was. A soft chime sounded and the door slid open, revealing a Zitari she hadn't seen before this one, smaller than the others, with a gentler glow to her skin. "I am Nala," the alien said, her voice melodic through the translator. "I am the chief medical officer." Lucy stood. "Are you the one who will perform the procedure?" On Sam Nala nodded. "I have studied human physiology extensively in preparation for this moment." She said, "Can you really do it without destroying him?" Lucy asked. "Can you separate them without taking everything that makes him who he is?" The alien moved further into the room, her movements fluid and graceful. "I understand your concern," she said, "but you should know that Zareth was a great hero among our people. His sacrifice saved millions. The fact that his essence found your friend is not coincidence. That doesn't answer my question." Lucy pressed. Nala hesitated. "I believe I can preserve approximately 70% of Sam Wilson's core personality and memories." She admitted the procedure is complex and has never been performed on a human before. "Only 70%, Lucy whispered. The alien tilted her head in curiosity. "You care deeply for this." "Human," Lucy looked away. "He is my friend." Nala made a soft humming sound that might have been understanding. "There is another option," she said, "but Princess Zalia would not approve." Lucy looked up sharply. "What other option?" The alien moved closer, lowering her voice. "We have technology that can create a neural copy, a duplicate of the merged consciousness before separation. This could allow us to extract what we need while leaving the original intact." "Why wouldn't Zalia approve?" Lucy asked suspiciously. Nala looked uncomfortable. "Our laws forbid the creation of consciousness copies," she explained. "Such technology has led to abuses in our past. The princess, as royal guardian of our laws, cannot officially sanction its use. But you could do it." Lucy pressed. The alien hesitated. "Yes," she admitted, "but it would require moving Sam to my private laboratory away from the main medical facility, and it would need to be done immediately before the merging progresses further." Lucy didn't need time to consider. If there was a chance to save Sam fully, she would take it. "Lead the way," she said. Nala guided her through less traveled corridors, explaining as they went, "My research focuses on consciousness transfer." She said, "I believe the human brain is more adaptable than our own, more capable of integration without losing its original structure." They reached a smaller medical room with equipment similar to the main chamber but more compact, more experimental looking. "I will bring Sam here," Nala said. "But you must distract the guards outside his room." The alien gave Lucy instructions on how to create a diversion using the environmental controls. Lucy followed them, precisely causing a section of the ship to register a false atmospheric breach. Alarms sounded, drawing the attention of the guards. In the confusion, Nala brought Sam to the laboratory. He was groggy, barely conscious, the merging process clearly accelerating. "Will this work?" Lucy asked, watching as the alien connected Sam to the equipment. Nala worked quickly, her many-fingered hands moving with precision. "I believe so," she said, "but we must be swift. The copy will take approximately 20 minutes to complete, during which time Sam must remain perfectly still." The procedure began, lights pulsing around Sam's head, his body going rigid as the machine hummed louder. Lucy watched the screens, showing his neural patterns complex and beautiful, like a storm of electricity. Halfway through the procedure, the door slid open. Princess Zalia stood there, her expression thunderous, guards behind her. "What are you doing?" she demanded. Lucy stepped between Zalia and Sam. "We found another way," she said defiantly. "One that doesn't destroy him." The princess advanced into the room. "Nala, you know our laws," she said sharply. The medical officer continued working, not looking up. "This is different, my princess," she said. "The human physiology allows for what ours cannot. A clean copy without degradation. I can give you what you need without sacrificing this young one." Zalia watched the screens, her anger slowly fading to curiosity. Is this true? Nala nodded. The preliminary scans confirm it. She said his neural pathways are maintaining integrity despite the copy process. The princess moved closer, studying the readings with expert eyes. Something like hope dawning on her face. If this works, she said softly, it will work. Lucy insisted it has to. The minutes stretched on tense and silent, save for the humming of the machine. Finally, Nala stepped back. It is done, she announced. Sam remained still, his breathing shallow on the screen. A perfect copy of his neural pattern glowed brightly, contained within the Zitari technology. Will he be all right? Lucy asked, moving to his side. Nala nodded. We must now separate the original consciousness from Zirith's influence, she said. This part is still delicate. The princess stepped forward. I will assist, she said to Lucy's. Surprise, my connection to my ancestor may help guide the separation. Together, Zalia and Nala worked for hours using technology Lucy could barely comprehend. Occasionally, Sam would gasp or cry out, his body tensing as if in pain. But Lucy held his hand throughout, speaking softly to him, reminding him of home, of Earth, of their friendship. Finally, as the ship systems indicated the equivalent of Earth dawn, Nala stepped back, her glow dimming with exhaustion. It is complete, she said. On one screen, the neural copy containing Zareth's consciousness pulsed steadily on the other. Sam's brainwaves had stabilized, returning to a more human pattern. He will sleep now, Zalia said, her own energy clearly depleted. When he wakes, we will know if we succeeded. 3 weeks later, Lucy stood on the observation deck of the Zitari ship, watching Earth grow larger in the viewing port. The blue and green planet looked peaceful from this distance, untouched by the galactic conflict that she now knew raged across. The star Sam stood beside her, his recovery remarkable according to the alien doctors. The last traces of Zirith fading from his mind, though he retained fragments of knowledge that proved valuable to the Zitari scientists. Are you ready to go home? Lucy asked. Sam nodded, but with a hesitation that Lucy noticed. I never thought my first trip to space would be like this, he said with a small smile. Lucy bumped his shoulder gently. Most people never leave Earth at all, she reminded him. You get to say you've been to an alien spaceship, true? He agreed, his expression growing more serious. What do you think will happen when we return? Lucy sighed. Captain Hill knows we left willingly, she said. But the brass, they might see it differently. Sam looked. Troubled desertion during a crisis they could court-martial. Us, Lucy shrugged. Worth it, she said firmly. We saved your mind and got the Zitari the information they needed to fight the Krivax. I'd say that's worth whatever punishment they throw at us. The door slid open behind them and Princess Zalia entered, her royal robes replaced by simpler attire, though she still carried herself with unmistakable authority. We will arrive at your base in 1 hour, she announced. Lucy turned to face her. What will you tell our leaders? The princess smiled diplomatically. The truth, she said. We will explain that Private Wilson was essential to our research, that his unique neural compatibility with my ancestor allowed us to recover lost knowledge vital to defeating a common enemy. And they'll believe that? Sam asked skeptically. Zalia tilted her head. The neural copy we made has already yielded results. She said our scientists have identified the genetic sequence that makes the Krivax vulnerable. We have begun developing a targeted weapon that will disable their ships without destroying them. Lucy raised her eyebrows, impressive. More importantly, the princess continued, we are prepared to offer Earth advanced technology as thanks defensive systems, energy sources, medical, knowledge that's generous, Sam said suspiciously. What do you want in return? Zalia looked between them. Alliance, she said simply. Your world is young, but your people are resourceful, adaptable in ways my kind are not. Together, we stand a better chance against the Krivax than either would alone. And us? Lucy asked. What about our punishment? The princess' expression softened. I have spoken with your Captain Hill. She said she understands the importance of what we have accomplished. Charges will be dropped. In light of the diplomatic agreements being negotiated, relief flooded through Lucy, though she tried not to show it too clearly. So we just go back to normal, she asked. Back to being regular soldiers? Zalia shook her head. Not quite, She said. You have both seen too much, learned too much to return to your previous roles. Sam frowned. Then what? The princess gestured for them to follow her, leading them to another chamber where several Zitari worked at control stations. We are establishing a permanent embassy on Earth, she explained. We will need liaisons, humans who understand our culture, our technology, who can bridge the gap between our peoples. You want us to work for you. Lucy realized with us. Zalia corrected as equals. You would be trained in our ways, given access to knowledge few humans possess. You would help prepare your world for what is coming. Sam and Lucy exchanged looks. It was an incredible opportunity, one that would change their lives forever. What about Captain Hill? Lucy asked. She trusted us. Xalia smiled. She has already been offered a similar position overseeing security for the embassy. Sam laughed. Of course she has, he said. The captain was nothing, if not practical. As they approached Earth, the Zitari ship was met by human vessels escorts from the new Joint Defense Force that had been hastily assembled following the Kryvax attack. The landing was handled with full diplomatic protocol, a far cry from the simple military formation that had greeted the aliens on their first arrival. Officials in formal attire waited on the tarmac along with military personnel, including Captain Hill. When they disembarked, Lucy felt strangely self-conscious in the Zitari clothing she had been given during their stay. She spotted familiar faces among the gathered soldiers, including Lieutenant Clark, who gave her a subtle thumbs up. The formal greetings were handled by Zalia and the human officials, Sam and Lucy standing slightly behind the princess as part of her entourage. Captain Hill approached them while the diplomats were distracted. You two caused quite a stir, she said, keeping her voice low, but there was no anger in her tone. Sorry, Captain Lucy said, not feeling particularly sorry at all. Hill waved away the apology. It worked out. I've never seen the brass move so quickly on anything but alien technology gets their attention. Apparently, Sam cleared his throat. Did the princess tell you about her offer? Hill nodded. Embassy liaison, she said with a small smile. Not bad for a couple of junior officers who technically committed treason. Lucy winced when she put it that way. The captain looked between them seriously. It's not going to be easy. She warned. You'll be the first humans to work so closely with the Zitari. There will be suspicion from both sides. Politics, cultural misunderstandings, we can handle it, Lucy said confidently. Hill nodded. I believe you can, she said. That's why I recommended you both for the positions. Before they could respond, a commotion near the main delegation drew their attention. Princess Zalia was gesturing for Sam to join her. He gave Lucy a quick glance before moving to the princess' side. Lucy watched as Zalia formally presented Sam to the human officials, explaining his role in facilitating the alliance. The politicians nodded, listening intently while Sam stood straight, trying to appear more confident than he felt. Captain Hill leaned closer to Lucy. The princess has taken quite an interest in your friend, she observed. Lucy had noticed that as well during their time on the ship. Zalia had spent hours with Sam, helping with his recovery, teaching him about Zitari culture, answering his endless questions about their technology. He's still carrying fragments of her ancestor. Lucy explained it. Creates a connection. Hill raised an eyebrow. Is that all it is? Lucy watched as Zalia placed a hand on Sam's arm, guiding him through the formal introductions. The princess was certainly protective of him, in a way that went beyond diplomatic necessity. Maybe not, Lucy admitted, but Sam can take care of himself. Hill didn't look convinced. Royalty is royalty. Human or alien, she said, they tend to get what they want. The formal reception continued, moving inside to conference rooms where the details of the alliance would be negotiated. Lucy found herself separated from Sam, assigned to brief a group of military officials on Zitari defense capabilities, while he accompanied Zalia to discussions about technology sharing. Hours later, when the initial meetings had concluded, Lucy found Sam waiting for her outside the building, his expression thoughtful. Long day, she said, falling into step beside him as they walked toward the temporary quarters they had been assigned. Sam nodded. Overwhelming. He admitted. They want me to go back to the Zitari homeworld. Lucy stopped walking. What? As part of the exchange program. He explained they want human representatives to learn directly from their scientists. There will be Za'Tari coming. Here too. How long, Lucy asked, trying to keep her voice casual. 6 months initially, he said, longer if it works out. Lucy resumed walking, processing this information she had just gotten him back. Now he would be leaving again. 6 months was a long time, especially in a distant alien world. The princess requested me specifically. Sam added. Of course she did. Lucy thought, remembering Captain Hill's words about royalty, getting what they want. Will you go? She asked instead. Sam looked up at the stars now, visible in the darkening sky, somehow closer now that he had been among them. I think I have to, he said. There's still so much. I need to understand so much. I could learn. Lucy nodded, understanding, even as disappointment settled in her chest. This was his chance, something unique and valuable. Of course he should take it. I'll miss having you around, she said lightly, trying to hide her feelings. Sam turned to her suddenly, his expression serious. Come with me. What? Lucy blinked. Come with me, to the Za'Tari world. He said they need security specialists too. Someone who understands human military protocols. You could request the assignment. Lucy stared at him. Was he serious? Leave Earth, travel to an alien world that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She realized a chance to see things no human had seen before, to learn things no human had learned, to be part of something truly historic. Captain Hill would approve it, she said, thinking aloud, especially if the princess requested both of us. Sam grinned. Eagerly, I could ask her tomorrow. Lucy felt a smile spreading across her face despite her attempt to remain professional. It was crazy, completely insane, and absolutely perfect. Ask her, she said. 6 days later, they stood in the Za'Tari ship once more, this time with official uniforms and diplomatic credentials, their few personal possessions packed in standard issue bags. Captain Hill had seen them off with a rare smile and a warning to remember who they represented. The massive ship lifted smoothly from Earth, its advanced engines barely making a sound as it accelerated toward the stars. Lucy watched her home planet grow smaller through the viewing port until it was just a blue dot among countless others. On the command deck, Princess Zalia stood resplendent in her royal attire, giving orders to her crew. Sam beside her, already looking more comfortable among the aliens than he had just days before.